Hello world! Today I have a bunch of TNT, a bunch of iron, a single soul sand block, and some kelp. I'll need some bone meal, but overall I think you know what I'm doing. It's time to upgrade the mine. Currently my mine is just a simple shaft mine going straight down to bedrock, and I pretty much branch off of that in any way I want and dig for various resources. But I would like this to become a diamond mine, and for the lush caves to be the more shallow run around and explore mine. So, I'll be counting out some blocks and just digging straight down. I realize that many of the ancient Minecraft hymns say not to dig straight down, but do not worry, this is a path I've traveled many times before, and I'm pretty certain there's no danger in digging straight down. I'll be poking out right into my diamond mine and constructing a lift to bring resources up to the top. This is actually the longest I've gone in a world without constructing a resource extractor. They are crucial for industry in Minecraft, bringing large numbers of resources up to the surface that could otherwise have to be hauled out by hand or minecart. However, I haven't built one of these with the new rules involving water and minecart rails, so I'm going to try something new and see if I can make the minecarts even better for mining. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I do not use the minecarts for roller coasters or long-distance travel. I'm one of the few people that actually use them in large number for mining. For those of you who don't know, minecarts are actually for mining. You can use them to store large numbers of pickaxes and other resources, and then move them to the top quickly, either using powered rail or now bubble elevators. I'll be showing you how to do this here in a moment. Hopefully by the end of this project, I'll be phasing out long ladders. As much as I like ladders for getting up and down buildings and such, they do present a bit of a hazard. Mostly in the fact that you spend a tremendous amount of time doing nothing, and this can leave you tempted to do things kind of like sneezing, coughing, or accidentally hitting your mouse and then dying horrifically. Shortly after falling to my death, I put water at the top of the elevator. I then began growing kelp at the bottom. As we all know, when you plant kelp and grow it using bone meal, you can turn flowing water blocks into full water source blocks. This is the best way to vertically place water. As soon as I'm all done with that, I give her a test. The soul sand should create bubbles, sending you upwards. It's a little bit of a long journey, but it's not unbearable, and of course you don't have to do anything or risk dying. Just wait until you reach the top. I have a small number of dump chests down here where I dump the materials I'm not particularly looking for at the moment. And now I'll be loading them all up into minecarts and sending them up to be sorted and offloaded up at the top. I have a very large order of materials from Mr. Fuzzy. He would like to build his nether kingdom out of deep slate, but deep slate is an overworld product, so he'll be trading a large quantity of deep slate for some of the rarer materials that I don't feel like grabbing myself in the nether. I'm recording this long after the actual project for the day. Sorry, I was working too hard on moving deep slate, and I really didn't have any good camera angles, so I'll just do it now. As you can see, these hoppers and minecart chests and hopper chests and stuff all feed together into a giant storage system here above, which is fed by a bubble elevator. You can manually push the minecarts to return them. There's a small powered rail activated by a switch, which prevents them from falling down a little bit too soon. This way you don't accidentally send materials back down into the mine unless you absolutely want to. I made the shaft so that it's perfectly safe to go ahead and jump right down. No more falling and dying. After the vertical drop, we come down here to the rail yard. This is where minecart chests and minecart hoppers are stored until later use. Technically, I could break them into items and store them, but I'm too lazy to do that, so why not just keep them in the open? This way, everyone can use them, and I know exactly where they are. As you can see, I have a very long return line filled with unpowered rail to slow them down and keep them from bumping into things. I have minecart chests and minecart hoppers. They're used for different mining techniques, but all of them involve bulk storage. Here is the upshoot. When I turn on this lever, the powered rail will send the minecarts into the bubble stream and shoot them right up to the surface. For a demonstration, I have prepared a cart filled with deep slate. Right now, cobbled deep slate is the most important export of the Timber Kingdom. I send it over to the Fuzzy Man's kingdom in the Nether, and he uses it for gas-proofing his entire land. Cobbled deep slate and its variant smoothstone deep slate appear to be the only materials that look nice and are gas-proof, so he's using it for his entire kingdom. This is good for me because it means I won't have to fight for the rights of various nether items, such as blaze rods, soul sand, and anything else I want to dig up. So, as long as I keep him drowning in deep slate, he's perfectly fine with me messing about and doing anything I want to the nether. The bubble elevator gives me a safe ride up. No more falling down, no more dying. It also does a good job at lifting up minecarts, which come back up to the top, and we now have a minecart chest filled with deep slate, ready to be shipped off to the nether, being unloaded right here. I'd like to take these over to the nether portal a little closer, but maybe that'll be a project for another day. Plus, it's just not worth it because he can grab the deep slate himself. Moving back on to the project. This demonstration is over. My personal home has not been getting very much love lately, so I've been deciding to upgrade it recently. Of course, I added some glass around the axolotl tank and actually put in some axolotls. I'm no longer afraid that they'll die up on the surface of the dry. They seem to do a pretty good job of staying in the water, so I went ahead and named them all. I didn't give them actual names, just little emojis for now. And I put them in the tank so they can swim around and play. Right now, I only have the pink axolotls out, but I might swap them out for another kind a little bit later. I think I'm going to replace the wood. I don't like this ugly orange. It's just the wrong shade. I'm going to try the mangrove wood instead. I bet it'll look way better. To this end, I'm simply extracting the ugly wood and installing the pretty wood. It's kind of an odd process to extract only one block and put in another, but I'll figure it out. So, I'm looking at the difference between the darker red wood and the orange wood against the brick and against the green ceiling, and I love it. I'm going to have to do this whole place in mangrove wood now. I'm also going to have to change the posts outside. It shouldn't take me too long, even though mangrove wood does take a long time to grow. So, wish me luck. Oh yes, I am liking it. I am liking it a lot. The mangrove posts add a good depth and feel. The red wood makes a good darker background for my foliage that I like to decorate my houses with. And it gives me a good contrast against the ceilings. I might replace the pumpkins in the future, I'm not certain. I do have sea lanterns for it, and I think they'd match better with the ceiling. I might change the entire ceiling altogether. Of course, my chests are still full of loot because I didn't mess with them. I don't even know why I'm looking at them here. And my axolotls are still adorable, so this is awesome. Now, if you all recall, I had mentioned that the large amount of deep slate I'm sending to the nether allows me to do pretty much anything I wanted it without having to ask permission. So, let's go do a little project in the nether real fast. I'm digging my way up to the nether ceiling. I decided to use diorite for this because it's a good contrast against any of the blocks I suspect Mr. Fuzzy will use. Sure, it's not gas-proof, but I don't think any gas will start shooting at it right away. I'm constructing a thin and long soil road. This should take us quickly all around the various places of the nether. I intend on stretching it in all 4 directions, and even beyond that, adding signs to the various things we'll be discovering along the way. I have no idea where this is going to go, but I think it'll go somewhere beneficial. Also, the Fuzzy Man is actually on the server while I'm doing this. He's rolling around in the deep slate, so he's not bothering me. Aw, hell yeah. Hang on. Mr. Dom, I am now recording.
Greetings.
I have been recording. Guess what I just found?
Fortress? Nope.
You do not have soul speed.
Nope.
Alright, I'll give you a head start. The Fuzzy Man and I will be working together on attacking the Nether Fortress. Together, we plan on building a blaze farm and starting to have access to higher tier items such as potions. Due to the lack of things like water in the nether, there really isn't a good way to produce a fully automatic farm. You mostly just have to fight the blaze, so I fireproof the floor, Mr. Fuzzy fights the blaze while I do this, and we pretty much work together to get a whole bunch of blaze rods. Not a chest, but it just has gold in it. There's what I'm looking for.
What?
Nether wart. After killing the blaze and grabbing some nether wart, we both head home. We split up the loot, and we go our separate ways. I turned some of my blaze rods into brewing stands, and constructed a little brewing hut for my various clerics. Unfortunately, I smacked a couple of them while building the place by an accident, and now their prices aren't very good, but I'll mend ties with them later. A small experiment to see if nether wart can grow in the overworld has been deemed successful. They have not yet nerfed that, so I'm going to build a nether wart farm. Nothing fancy going on in this farm. It's just layers and layers of soul sand with as much surface area for growing nether wart as possible. You may not have noticed it, but the nether that I have leads directly to a soul sand biome, so I know Mr. Fuzzy's going to be drowning in nether wart pretty soon. I don't have to worry about monopolizing the resource. Speaking of his soul sand valley, I'm going to be needing a lot of it, so I hope he doesn't mind a couple of big sand pits in his backyard. It is complete, a giant tower for growing nether wart. Simple, yet very necessary. It's funny, nether wart is actually one of the rarer resources to find. You can only find it inside of certain structures in the nether. Makes me wonder lore-wise where nether wart even comes from. I suspect it doesn't actually come from the nether. But none of that matters. Now that I have nether wart, it's time for me to reveal a little secret I've been hiding from you all this whole time. Here's the secret. This is not my house. This has never been my house. It's just a place I dump items that are kind of valuable, but I don't exactly want to throw them away or let them go. This is a storage shed. This is my actual base. I've been hiding it this entire time because it took me a long time to construct. As you can see, this is my actual bed, with my little cat on top of it. It's surrounded by some of the different armors you can get in Minecraft. Nothing special, just display. My floor is, of course, copper. That way I can satisfyingly scrape it clean occasionally. I have my own full enchanting table area. I have the occasional decorative art for no reason. You can't pass through it. I don't really like that trick. I have my own personal block storage for important blocks that I don't like to share. This is my real crafting area, consisting of a jukebox for music, although I have no music discs as of yet. 3 furnaces, of course, a loom, a configured super smoker, a stone cutting wheel, a crafting table, of course, with decorative sword, 2 grindstones, a super blast furnace, a cartographer's table, 2 anvils, of course, and a smithing table. With this, I pretty much craft everything, and of course an ender chest, but that's not obtained legitly. I have to use that in order to store important items as the admin, and I've given everyone on the server one of these so that we can do mini games and travel long distances without worry. Now that I have nether wart, I can finally show you what I've really been wanting to show you. This big beast. This is an automated potion brewer, with all of the ingredients laid out before me so that I can make it easy for myself. I found these plans online, and ever since I saw them, I've been wanting to build it. It has water bottles, nether wart, all of the base ingredients except for a rabbit's foot and I think a turtle shell. I'm not certain what that's for. And of course the modifying ingredients, which are on a different color button. These increase the length of the potion, turn it into a splash potion, do all that stuff. I've not been much for using potions in the past, but with this beast, I have no more excuses, and I can't wait to use it. And of course my personal armory. Eventually I'm going to kill some of the villagers that sell certain items to deny my friends the access to them, so I make sure to stockpile them. Now that the tour is over, let's go play with this brewing machine. I legitimately have no idea how this thing works. I was just copying the plans on the internet. But it would seem that blaze powder seems to be what powers it, but is also an ingredient or something. I have no idea what any of these produce, but I know that sugar should, in theory, make a speed potion. So I press the button, it installs the nether wart to make an awkward potion, I think. It requires a lot of waiting. Ooh, but it's worth the wait. I'm so excited. Yes. And now it should brew up the sugar. So an awkward potion has no effects. You just drink it and you might as well have just drinking water. I don't have much nether wart, so I can't make too many of these. But yes, I have speed potions. Now these modifiers on the end will not install nether wart, or at least I don't think. And redstone, if it ever pops in, ooh, there it is. Redstone should, in theory, increase the strength of this potion, or at least its duration or something. I have no idea. Yes, it went from 3 minutes to 8 minutes. We have potions, people. We have potions. I have access to soul sand, soul speed boots, and access to swiftness potions that last 8 minutes. We all know I have to see how fast I can go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm booking it. This is going to help me out. This is going to help me out a lot. To celebrate, I think I'm going to clean this little spot on the floor. Yes, satisfying. Yes, I love copper floors. And I don't think I'm going to clean any of the copper ceiling ever because that sounds hard. Also, I want to see it oxidize into its full green glory and be contrast against the floor. And the walls, I think I'll keep bone meal for now. I love the bone block walls. They're very reflective, very bougie. I like it. But I'm going to play with this potion thing for a bit, and I'll see you at the end of the next project. I was thinking about my next project, and I was on the way out of my base to grab more sugar. While I was grabbing the sugar cane, though, I thought about grabbing some display item frames and some compasses because I just had a good idea for what my next project should be. Every time I think about growing this green grass down here on the bottom of the ocean, I can't imagine putting anything over it. But there is one thing I'd like to see much more than this green grass. So I'm putting down some item frames. I'm going to use maps to give myself a little map of my entire island and the surrounding area. I made a large diamond for my world map. It's a little unconventional map shape, but I'm liking it. I might pad it out to a circle, but I'm not certain yet. But for now, I'll have a nice 1:1 scale layout of the entire island. I'm going to be spending a little bit of time just running around the various areas of my world and getting 1:1 maps. These are the largest map with the most zoom. I think those look the best for a map floor. They give you the most detail and you can really inspect them to see where you're going. Then once I have the maps, I run back to this little diamond and put them in place where they belong. It's looking good so far. And with that, I believe this project is done for today. I have this sandbar that I originally spawned on, a very small island which I harvest some grass and mostly ignore. I have my gunpowder oil rig, all of my various farms in the mushroom biome, the large diamond under the sea, my Technoblade monument, and of course the village, all on the single map. You can see where they are relative to each other and their relative size. Before I let you go, this is the part of the video where I ask you very nicely to subscribe. It helps in my eternal battle with the YouTube algorithm. Also, it would help if you hit the bell icon and anything else that lets you see my videos. I appreciate your continued watching, and I'll see you in the next one. For now, I'll be saying, bye-bye!